It began quietly, just a slight shift in trade flows, a subtle change in buyer preferences. Then came the silence. No new orders, no renewed contracts. By the time farmers in the American Midwest noticed, it was too late. The world's largest corn export machine had begun to grind to a halt. For decades, the United States stood at the top of the global corn trade, shipping billions of dollars worth of grain worldwide. But in just a few years, that dominance has unraveled. What was once the engine of rural prosperity is now at the center of an unfolding economic crisis. Across Iowa, Nebraska, and Illinois, the signs are everywhere. Combines idle on gravel driveways, silos filled to the brim, and corn prices plunging to around $3.50 per bushel, the lowest in nearly a decade. For many, that doesn't even cover production costs. Over 2 million tons of corn have been rerouted from export ports back into domestic storage. Contracts worth millions have collapsed, leaving farmers with unsold grain and mounting debt. The damage is spreading. In towns where agriculture is the economic heartbeat, every lost contract means lost jobs, shrinking tax revenue, and fading communities. So what happened? A storm of factors converged: foreign tariffs, rising transport costs, changing consumer demands, and technology gaps in certification. And while U.S. exporters focused on volume, a quiet competitor, Canada, was building something new. Their secret weapon? Prairie Trace, a blockchain-powered grain registry that offers full transparency from seed to port. Every shipment comes with non-GMO certification, carbon emissions data, and a complete chain of custody. For buyers in the EU, Japan, and South Korea, that's exactly what they now demand. While the U.S. sold bulk grain, Canada sold trust. Within weeks of signing new trade deals, Japan and South Korea began shifting major portions of their corn imports to Canadian suppliers. Canadian corn fetched $4.20 per bushel, nearly 22% more than U.S. prices, because buyers were willing to pay for reliability and compliance. Meanwhile, U.S. exporters faced rising costs, higher inspection fees, soaring shipping rates, and outdated, fragmented certification systems. For overseas buyers navigating strict regulations, U.S. corn became a risk. Regulatory changes only accelerated the shift. Mexico banned GMO corn for human consumption, and soon Japan and parts of Europe followed. With over 90% of U.S. corn acreage planted with GMO hybrids, America was effectively shut out. Canada, with its heavy investment in non-GMO programs, became the natural alternative. By mid-2025, the trust gap was undeniable. International buyers preferred Canada's centralized systems, which guaranteed compliance, faster customs clearance, and lower reputational risk. U.S. corn, no matter how high the quality, couldn't prove it on paper. And as environmental rules tightened, especially Europe's new emissions tracking requirements, Canada pulled further ahead. Their centralized carbon data platform meant shipments cleared customs up to 20 days faster than American equivalents. In a business where time is money, that mattered. The result? Canadian corn became more than a commodity, it became a compliance solution. Governments and corporations tied to climate goals could meet their targets simply by sourcing from Canada. Back in the Midwest, the mood turned grim. U.S. farmers stored record amounts of unsold corn. Storage costs climbed, ethanol plants cut production, and low water levels on the Mississippi choked river transport. Some co-ops stopped buying corn altogether. Every delay, every extra fee, ate into already thin margins. Meanwhile, Canada signed new high-value agreements, including a 5-year deal with South Korea for certified organic grain, and expanded exports to Japan and the EU, bypassing U.S. ports entirely. With a weaker Canadian dollar and streamlined trade routes, they offered both price competition and compliance advantages. The message from global buyers is now clear. In modern agriculture, quantity is not enough. Environmental credentials, traceability, and data transparency are as critical as yield. Canada adapted. The U.S. did not. As overseas contracts, investments, and partnerships flow north, the foundation of America's corn export dominance is eroding. Not because the grain itself has changed, but because the rules of the game have.